Goodbye, Grandma. My Mill stood there with her mouth agape as she watched my son cheerfully wave and walk out the door. Goodbye, Mill. I think this will be the last time I call you that. Please take care, I said my final goodbye to her. However, not understanding the true meaning of my words, she contacted me again later. My name is Sarah. I'm a 37-year-old homemaker working at an architecture firm. Asterisk, smile, smile, asterisk. My smile brings happiness to my family. I make myself smile in the mirror and say this magic phrase. This is my morning routine. My grandmother taught me this. Sarah, you're not an unfortunate child, so don't cry. Come on, smile for me. When I was in elementary school, I was teased for not having parents and would come home crying. My grandmother's strict yet warm encouragement kept me going. She was always cheerful and bright like the sun in my life. She passed away 2 years ago, following my grandfather who had gone before her. Even now, the sadness of losing them hasn't healed, but I have a kind husband and lovely children. My husband Sam is 2 years older than me and works as an architect for a construction company. My daughter Emma is 10 years old. She's entering her rebellious teen phase, but still looks after her younger brother well. My son Max just turned 3. He's a clingy child who always follows his sister around like a shadow. Building an ordinary family was my childhood dream, and now that I have it, I believed we would live happily ever after as a family of 4. However, that happiness didn't last long. My Phil, who had stomach cancer, passed away, even though he had fought the disease for 3 years. Losing another emotional anchor was a huge blow, but we couldn't stay sad forever. My Mill, now alone in her house, asked us to move in with her. I remember visiting Sam's parents' house with him to announce our engagement. As soon as I sat on the living room sofa, my Mill started firing questions at me like a job interview. Sarah, do you also have an architect license like my son? Yes, wow, that's impressive for a woman. No, it's nothing. By the way, what do your parents do? What's your father's occupation? My parents divorced when I was 2, and I was adopted by my paternal grandparents. The moment I said that, her expression turned stern. Then, where are your parents now? I haven't seen my mother since then, so I don't know where she is. My father remarried and lives with another family. So, you haven't seen your mother. Does that mean she caused a divorce? Did she find another man? Otherwise, why would she abandon her child? Oh, I couldn't respond immediately because everything she said was true. Hey, it's rude to pry into someone's family matters like that. That's right, Mom. And the grandparents who raised Sarah were wonderful people. My Phil's voice of reproach either didn't reach her or she pretended not to hear. Well, blood will tell. I wonder if the daughter will follow the same path as her mother, my Mill continued, loud enough for anyone to hear. Enough is enough, Sarah. I'm sorry. My wife doesn't mean any harm, but she has a sharp tongue. No, it's all right. That exchange happened. Afterward, my Mill reluctantly accepted our marriage, thanks to my Phil and Sam's persuasion. But she refused to accept me as a daughter-in-law, saying, I don't want to live with a stranger like you. When we proposed living together, she just said, do whatever you want. However, when Sam's younger brother Alex got engaged, she said, Lily comes from a good family, and her parents are together. She's really a suitable wife for our family. But the moment my Phil passed away, she said, Sarah, as the wife of the eldest son, it's only natural for you to take care of your Mill. She suddenly started treating me like a Mom. Isn't that too selfish? Sam, usually gentle and quiet, spoke up for me. That was then, and this is now. I didn't expect my husband to pass away so soon. My Mill answered nonchalantly. I'm not saying it's forever, just for a few years until the younger couple returns from overseas. You can't complain about that, can you, Sarah? Put on the spot, I couldn't say I had complaints. So we began living with her, 10 minutes by car from our home, with the condition that it would be temporary. Sarah, you know. Yes, Mill. This soup is a bit bland, she said, sprinkling salt as usual. Mom, you're adding salt again. It's not bland at all. Yes, it is. Sarah cooking is tasteless and unitizing. Mom, the doctor told you to cut down on salt because of your high blood pressure. No matter what Sam said, she replied, I'd rather eat what I like and die happy. Sarah, you know. It started again. Her complaints always began with this phrase. At these times, I just let it go in one ear and out the other. The problem was that my 3-year-old son, Max, started mimicking, Sarah, you know. It made me anxious because he was at the age where he imitated everything. Another issue was the triangle between my Mill, my daughter, and my son. She's such an ungrateful child, my Mill would say loudly. Emma pretended not to hear and would leave the house right after school. She had seen through my Mill's true nature since she was little and didn't open her heart to her. Max would try to follow Emma, but my Mill would say, Max, don't you want to have some candy with Grandma? I bought lots of your favorite sweets. Unable to resist the temptation, Max would say, Really? Then I'll have candy. Max, dinner is soon, so just a little. Okay. Max is smart enough to know that without being told. Seeing this every day, my only confidant was Sam. No matter how busy he was, he always listened to my worries. Thanks to my kind husband, I could forget my troubles and face the mirror with a smile every morning. But a year after we started living with my Mill, the day came suddenly. Sam collapsed at work. By the time I rushed to the hospital, it was too late. When I brought him home from the hospital, my daughter silently cried, and my son shook his father's body, saying, Dad, wake up. Why are you sleeping? How was I supposed to raise these kids alone from now on? The grief and anxiety overwhelmed me, yet I had to protect them and be strong. I swore not to cry in front of them, but my Mill's heartless words cut deep. Not shedding a tear even after losing your husband? You're such a cold woman. I'd like to see your parents' faces. No matter how much she disliked me, that wasn't something to say in front of the children. When my Phil passed away a year ago, my Mill said, My son will handle the funeral arrangements, so I don't have to do anything. It's so easy. And she was the only one lying on the couch, laughing out loud at a comedy show. Eventually, she even said, I've laughed so hard I'm crying, with tears in her eyes. For my Phil's funeral, my Mill just said, Let's keep it small and have it at home, leaving everything else to others. But when it came to her son's memorial, it was a different story. She said, We'll have the memorial at a ceremony hall, and even made the reservation. On the day of the funeral, everything went smoothly thanks to the professional staff at the venue. After the service, it was time for the post-memorial meal. Sarah, my kids and I will take our food home, so the rest is up to you, my Mill said, already holding a paper bag with box lunches. She added, The kids are waiting in the taxi, and left for home. I returned to my in-laws' house 2 hours later. I noticed familiar cardboard boxes stacked in a corner of the garage. The same spot where my Mill always puts out the trash. They were the boxes I had bought a few days ago at her request. Moreover, they were placed in a corner of the garage that my Mill always used for throwing away bulky trash. Inside were clothes and shoes that belonged to me. Those are just trash we don't need. If you want them, take them all. I turned around to find my Mill standing there, looking down at me. She said, "Now that my son is gone, you're just a stranger, so please leave," and pointed to the gate. Understood. When I responded immediately, she seemed momentarily surprised, but then smiled and said, "I'm glad you're such an understanding person. Where are the kids?" "The kids are at a relative's house. I'll arrange for them to be brought back later, so please pack your things and leave." As I hurriedly loaded my belongings into the car, she remarked, "At least you have the house my son left you, so you're not completely out of luck." Ignoring her, I said, "Well, thank you for everything," and left my in-laws' house. Back home, I immediately started cleaning the house. Before I knew it, it was dark outside. It was past 8 p.m. when I looked at the clock. "Hello, Mill. It's Sarah." "Oh, saying what do you want?" Her voice clearly indicated she had just woken up. "The kids haven't come home yet." "The kids? Oh, they're already asleep. Max insisted on sleeping with me. What could I do? But anyway, I'm tired from all the fuss today. We're going to Disneyland with the kids tomorrow, so we have to get up early. I'll call you later." "Hello? Hello?" She hung up on me. I knew it. I was convinced from the start that she never intended to return the kids. Having heard something from my daughter, I played along. It was a few days after my husband had passed. "Hey, Max, how about living with Grandma from now on?" "Yeah, and with Mom and Sis too, right?" "No, just with Grandma." "Then I'll buy you lots of candy and grant any wish you have. Really, lots and lots of candy. Yes, lots and lots." "And you'll take me to Disneyland to see Mickey?" "Of course, as many times as you want." "Yay, then I'll stay with Grandma. But remember, this is our little secret. Don't tell Mom or Sis, okay?" "Yeah, a secret, right?" My son had this conversation with my Mill, and then he told my daughter, saying, "Sis, this is a secret." My daughter in turn told me, "What if Max says he wants to live with Mill from now on?" I was honestly worried, but then my daughter said, "Mom, leave Max to me. I have a special magic trick." And I decided to trust her words. 5 days later, Mill contacted me to come pick up the kids. When I arrived at the house, my daughter was waiting by the entrance with the luggage already packed. As we finished loading the car, my son came running from inside, holding a Mickey Mouse bag. "Here, this is for you, a gift." "Oh, what a lovely pendant. Thank you, Max." I was relieved to see my son looking so cheerful, but then my Mill interrupted. "Oh, Sarah, you're early. Did you finish loading the luggage?" "Yes, we did." "All right, Max. Say goodbye to your mom and sister." "What?" I was stunned, thinking she might at least offer us some coffee before we left. But my son quickly put on his shoes, turned around and said, "Bye, Grandma. Max, let's go to the car." "Yeah." He cheerfully waved and walked out with his sister, leaving Mill standing there with her mouth open in shock. Trying to hold back my laughter, I said, "Well, I'll be going now. Thank you for everything," and started to leave. "Wait, Sarah," my Mill called after me. "Yes, what is it?" "Oh, you know, that thing." I pretended to think, then said, "Oh, do you mean the plan to adopt Max out to your childless younger son and his wife?" "How do you know about that? Did he tell you?" "Yes. He called me the day after the funeral." How? I thought he was calling to apologize for missing the funeral, but I was shocked to hear what he had to say. What's so shocking about it? I was just trying to help my childless son. What's wrong with that? I was beyond angry. I was exasperated. But when I gave her a defiant smile, she stiffened. "Too bad. Max decided to leave first despite all your efforts to win him over with gifts. She looked around confused and then down. Let me be clear. No matter what, I will never give up my children. EK. Well, Mill, this will be the last time I call you that. Take care. I hurried to the car where my children were waiting. On the way home, my son sitting in the back seat started talking about his Disneyland memories. Mom, he suddenly said seriously, yes, I'll be a hero. What? I almost turned around, forgetting I was driving. A fairy godmother in a blue dress and pink ribbon cast a spell on me, right, sis? Yes, she used her magic wand and said, bibbidi bobbidi boo, become a cool hero. Yeah, I'll be a hero and protect you, Mom. The one who cast the spell on my son was the fairy godmother who turned a pumpkin into a carriage. My daughter translated the magic words and told them to my son. If Max is going to protect me, then I have nothing to fear. Thank you. I had sworn not to cry in front of my children, but as I struggled to hold back my tears, my daughter sitting in the passenger seat handed me a hand towel. I will protect my children, I vowed again. Several months later, one day I received a phone call during our peaceful family life. Hello, Sarah. The voice on the other end was tearful. I could hear sniffles. It's been a while. What happened? The caller was my deceased husband's mother. In other words, it was a call from my ex-MIL, who had become a complete stranger. Hi, Sarah. Even though my son is gone, you're still our deal. Deal? I thought I became a stranger. That was just a figure of speech. So what do you need? Oh, right. Sarah, I tripped over the doorstep and sprained my ankle. I see. That's unfortunate. Yes, it is, and I can't drive, so I can't go shopping. Why don't you ask Lily, your younger son's wife? But Lily is overseas, so I can't ask her. Well, that's true. So, how much will you pay me? Pay you? Yes. How much will you pay me to work as your housekeeper? Why should I pay you, my D? Huh? I don't know what you're misunderstanding, but I'm not so kind as to help out at a stranger's house for free. But that was just a figure of speech. That's not the point. Then what is? I've already submitted a termination of in-law relationship form. Legally, we're strangers now. Illegally? How could you do that without my permission? Permission? You don't need to give permission or be informed about the submission. You know, well, what? I don't understand why you're angry. You should be grateful. Well, I have guests waiting, so I'll end this here. I hung up the phone and immediately blocked the number. Good job, Sarah. The guest was my deceased husband's brother's wife, Lily. She is currently back in the country alone for a short visit. Was that too much? Not at all. It was satisfying. She's probably trying to call my husband now and failing. True, it's just a shame we can't see her reaction up close. Definitely, believe it or not, it was my Mill who suggested I submit the termination of in-law relationship form. In other words, my Mill's younger son. I wonder how my ex-Mill felt when her own son confronted her with that fact. The reason Lily is here now is to discuss the house she and my Bill will build when they return to the country. After being kicked out of my in-laws' house, I left my job at the design office and planned to start my own design firm. When I told my brother-in-law and his wife about this, they asked me to design their house. It's kind of strange. We've gotten closer since my husband passed away. I had only exchanged greetings with my Bill and Lily a few times a year at family gatherings. We never had a proper conversation. The distance between us closed after my husband's death, ironically because of the adoption plot by my Mill, because of the adoption scheme that my Mill plotted. I also learned then that Lily had a uterine disease and couldn't have children. Even so, they decided to accept their reality and enjoy life as a couple. Some ties break and some ties form. I believe this new connection was also brought by my late husband. Mom, I'm home. Oh, Auntie M. Max, how have you been? Good. By the way, that pendant is so cute, isn't it? Max gave it to me as a gift from Disneyland. It's a magic pendant. But I picked it out, really? A magic pendant, Auntie? I'm jealous. Then next time, let's all go to Disneyland together. Thank you. Yes, let's all go. As the kids and Lily chatted happily, I looked at them with a smile. The glass slipper pendant on my chest sparkled bright.